Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're gonna do this Grim Reaper fella. He's pretty spooky. I cannot get him all the way in the shop, but you already seen the picture. And we're gonna make this his little sickle or scythe, or I don't know what you call it, scythe. So inside of here is a plastic straw, so you're gonna need one of those. And then everything else is just crochet, including this, which is separate, so you can take this on and off his hood if you want to. You're going to need some safety eyes. Let's get started. So I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook, and we're going to start with black, obviously. So I want you to make a magic ring. And I want you to put 8 single crochets inside this magic ring. You're going to need a stitch marker. So we're working amigurumi style. We're not going to slip stitch or chain 1 or 2 or anything like that. So go into your first stitch. You're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So go into your first stitch. You can either count to 16. Sorry, it's hard to see. I missed my first stitch. You can either count to 16, or you can use your stitch marker. So if you use your stitch marker after your first stitch, that's when it's going to go in. Then you can put your second stitch in that same space. So 2 single crochets in each stitch around for 16 stitches. That's my 16 stitches. That seemed very difficult for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's this. Let's take this off. It's probably distracting for you too. Your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and an increase. So that's 1 single crochet with your stitch marker. Then the next stitch is going to get your increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. Do this all the way around, and at the end you should have 24 stitches. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochet and an increase. Let's bring you up to 32 stitches. So that's number 1 single crochet. Your next stitch will get 1. So that'll be 2 single crochets, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. So 1, 1, 2 all the way around. So your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. So this should take you up to 40 stitches. That's 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and an increase. So 1, 1, 1, 2. Your next round is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase. So number 1 gets the marker. Four single crochets and then your increase. 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So repeat this all the way around, and at the end you should have 48 stitches. So your next round is going to be 5 single crochets and an increase. That's number 1. We're just about done. Our increases. That's number 1. That's 5 single crochets, and then your next one gets the increase of 2 single crochets. Did I just say double? That's 5 single crochets, and then your next one gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And then again, 5 single crochets and an increase. So this should take you up to 56 stitches. We have one more increase after this, and then so I'll put that on the screen and you can get that done as well, and I'll see you back here. So we're on round 9. So we're going to do back loops only. We're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, but we're going to do them in the back loops only. Now I know this is black and it's going to be super hard to see, but these are your back loops, so you don't have to turn it or anything else. They're looking right up at you. So you're just going to go into there. If you can see this, so difficult with black. But it is Halloween, so I couldn't really make this Grim Reaper yellow or anything. So back loops only. 1 single crochet in each stitch. So they might be a little difficult to get into. Just use your finger here and push it onto the hook. That's all I do. Make it go easy. Don't worry about stretching it out, it'll all go back into shape. Alright, so your next round is going to be the next 12 rounds is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. So that's the entire stitch. We're not doing back loops anymore. So you're going to do this for 12 rows, and you should have 64 stitches. So 1 single crochet in each stitch for the next 12 rows, and I will see you on the other side. Alright, so that's my 12 rows done. We're going to start decreasing now. So we're going to do a 6 single crochet decrease, and that should bring you down to 56 stitches. So we'll put our stitch marker in and stitch number 1. So you need 6 single crochets. And then your decrease. So you go into your first stitch and you grab some yarn and pull through and stop. You go into your second stitch, you grab some yarn and pull through. You've got 3 loops on. You're going to yarn over and come through all 3 of those loops. That's your decrease. You could also see it written as single crochet 2 tog, which means single crocheting 2 together. So that's your repeat. 6 single crochets and a decrease. So your next round is going to be 5 single crochets and a decrease, and that'll bring you down to 48 stitches. That's number 1. That's 5 single crochets, and then your decrease. So repeat this all the way around, and then after you can do your 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I will see you on the other side. So your next round is going to be 4 single crochets and a decrease, and this should bring you down to 40 stitches. So that's number 1 with your stitch marker, always with your stitch marker. Four single crochets, and then this one's your decrease. So you can repeat this all the way around and then do your next row of 1 single crochets in each of those 40 stitches, and I will see you on the other side. So your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and a decrease, and this will bring you down to 32 stitches, and then after that you can do the 1 single crochet in each of those 32 stitches. So that's number 1, always number 1. 3 single crochets and a decrease. Alrighty, we can probably start putting some stuffing in this. Pretty soon we're gonna switch to white. So I like to push my stuffing out and then put the stuff in the middle. Don't overstuff it, because the reason we did back loops here so that this part was flat and this part would come up, so it sat perfectly fine, almost like a bowl. And don't overstuff, because it's black and I don't want to see their stuffing through. And that's about all I'm going to do, because it's going to be really hard to hold on to with this stuffing in there. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and a decrease, and that should take you down to 24 stitches, and then you're going to do 2 rows of 1 single crochet in each of those 24 stitches, and then we're going to switch to white. So that's number 1, and that's 2, and then your decrease. So I'm done my 2 rows of the black. We're going to switch to white. There's lots of ways to switch colors, but considering it's black and then white, it's very contrasting. I'm actually going to fasten off with the black, and then I'm going to reattach with the white. I know that just seems like something I don't need to do. Usually I start weaving in the white before I come to my color change, but this time, so let me show you. Let me set this aside for now. Let me pull my hood down. So I did that. I started weaving in the white before coming to my color change, and you can actually see it. And this is why I've chosen to not do that, because it is so contrasting. But this is the head. This is what we're going to do. It is a weird shape because it's supposed to be a skull, but it didn't quite shape it like a skull because it is going to have a hood on it. So, but I did put a weird shape to it. So, and I said that this was removable. Well, it's kind of not, because I added this thing to its hand. So, but you can pull the hood down and stuff like that. Anyway, I digress. You're going to want to make a slip knot. So in the same place that you fastened off, reattach. And we're just going to make this the back of the doll. So reattach with a single crochet. But I want you to put another single crochet in there, because that'll be the stitch that we actually use. The first stitch is just for attaching. This stitch is what we're going to actually use. So from here we're going to start increasing to build the head. So we're going to do a 1 single crochet increase. So this should take you up to 35 stitches. Right now we're at 24 stitches. So this will be our 1 single crochet. This is where the stitch marker should go. We don't need one because we've done a color change. So your next stitch is going to get 2 single crochets. And that's your increase, just like before. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, all the way around. So if you've stuffed this, when you push on it, if it bounces back, you have enough stuffing. You don't have to worry about it. I wouldn't overstuff this guy, but if it doesn't bounce back, you probably need to add some more. Mine's pretty squishy, but it does bounce back, so I'm just gonna leave mine like that. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets all the way around, and I'll see you on the other side. Go back around to where I fastened off, and it's going to look funny because of where you fastened off, but it'll all pull together once we start our second row. So your second row in this increase in the head anyway is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. And that'll bring you up to, now there is a stitch here. We made that double stitch. So that'll bring you up to 46 stitches. It's going to be weird numbers because we're doing weird stuff. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then your increase. That's your repeat. Alright, so your next row is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. And this will bring you up to 57 stitches. And I know it's getting squishy. Three single crochets and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And then after this, I want you to do 4 rows of just 1 single crochet in each stitch for 57 stitches. And I will see you on the other side. So that is my 4 rows. This is what you should have. Looks funny. So we're going to decrease a bit and then we're going to increase again. That's going to give us this shape. So we can do a 3 single crochet decrease, which should take us down to 46 stitches, and then we'll do 1 single crochet in each of those. 46. Just follow the screen prompts. So that's number 1. Number 2 and 3. And then your decrease. So you should have 46 stitches at this point. And your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and a decrease. And that should take you down to 35. And then you can put 1 single crochet in each of those 35 stitches. So that's number 1. This number 2 and a decrease. and repeat. So your next rounds are going to be 2 single crochet and an increase. So we're increasing back up. And that should take you back up to 46 stitches. Then we're going to do 3 single crochet increase to take you back up to the 57 we were at before. And then 2 rows of, all this will be on my screen prompt. That's 2 single crochets and then your increase of 2 single crochets in this stitch. And then repeat. 1, 1, 2. So this is what you should have. It looks super duper funny right now, but we need to stuff it to shape it properly. But I designed this to have an exaggerated head because the head of the Grim Reaper is like the focus point, right? So we're just going to do decrease after decrease after decrease after decrease now to close this up. You don't have to stuff this now. It's going to be really hard to hold on to if you do. We'll stuff it in a sec. We need to put the eyes on as well. So we're going to start with a 3 single crochet decrease, and then we're going to work our way down. So that's 3 single crochets. This is always number 1 with the stitch marker. Decrease. So there's no in between of 1 single crochets. We're just working our way down. 3 single crochets and a decrease. So your next round is 2 single crochets and a decrease. This is number 1 with your stitch marker. That's number 2 and a decrease. So your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease, and the round after that is going to be exactly the same thing. So you're going to do 2 rounds of 1 single crochet and a decrease. One round will take you 24 stitches and the next round will take you to 16 stitches. And then we'll close up the head. Alright, so we can start putting some in this head. Part way up, I'll have to attach the eyes. Okay, so it should have this kind of a comes up, goes in, comes up, goes. So before we go any further with that, we have to make the eyes. Because I put these eyes on with safety eyes. You're going to need a 4mm hook and you're going to need your black. So you're going to start with a magic ring. Well, I didn't do that very good. So that's your chain 1. So when I make a magic ring, I usually make it with the chain 1. So inside this magic ring, you're going to put 1 single crochet. You're going to put a half double crochet. You're going to put 2 double crochets. You're going to put 2 half triple crochets. So a half triple crochet is to yarn over twice, go in, pull up some yarn. You're going to come through 2, and then you're going to come through 3. That's a half triple. So you want to do another one of those. Then you want to do 2 double crochets. You want to do a half double crochet, and then you want to do a single crochet. And that is it. That is your eye. So you're going to pull that closed. You're going to go into the first stitch. You're going to fasten off. So do a slip stitch and fasten off. So you're going to need a sewing tail. A little bit of one. Doesn't need to be ginormous. Keep your center kind of open like that, because that's where you're going to put your eyeball through. So you don't need this guy. I would suggest just making a knot. Making a tiny small knot. And then you can just cut him off, because you really have a lot of room to be weaving in. So pick your eyes. I chose red. Oh my gosh. I chose red eyes for my other one. I've got all kinds of different colors. Here, I think I'm going to do green for this one. Doesn't seem too spooky, but it's probably still going to be creepy. So that's what you're going to do. And then you're going to sew these on to be shaped, or for the big shape to be at the top or the bottom, like however you want to put your eyes on. I'll show you an example. Get out one of your backs. You are still going to sew on the eye itself. So I did this, oh, I don't know what I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Between 12th and 13th from the change here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right about where the hump starts, so this is where we did our 4 rows, so right about where the hump starts, you can decide if you want your eye like that, or your eye like that, or your eye like that, or your eye like that. So it's your decision. I'm just going to kind of angle it like that, I think. Now it's going to be really hard to put the back on because of your black, but it is possible because I got mine on. Like that, and then we're still going to sew around the eye to keep it flat. So go ahead and make your second eye, and I will meet you right back here to do the second one with you, and then we'll sew up the head. We'll worry about the face after. So that's my eyes. It looks pretty stupid now because I have nothing else on here. But let's close up this head. I still have to put more stuffing in this, so let's do that first. And then we'll close up the head. So I stuffed the head way more than I stuffed the body because the head's the important part. But so we are going to decrease 10 times, and then we're just going to sew it shut. So no one single crochet, anything. We're just gonna, oh, sorry, wrong hook. And I know I'm really close to the camera, that's because it's very tall. So that's my 10. I'm going to go into the next stitch. I'm going to fasten off. And I'm going to sew the rest shut. So you just need enough to sew with and to weave with. Don't worry about what the top of the head looks like. We are, there's going to be a hood. So I'm going to just add a little bit more stuffing. So to sew this up, you're just going to go in this and out this one. You're just picking up one piece. In and out. One more time, in and out. And then pull. So that closes that right up. Pull it tight. Come across. We're just going to make a knot. Go through the loop. Pull back and forth a couple of times. That tightens that knot right up. And then you're just going to weave. So weave down into the stuffing and then around the head part. Make sure you're staying close to the lead when you go back in so that it just looks like a stitch. And go in 3 different directions. Try not to pull tight or that'll happen. End up with a divot in your head. There we have it. So you just kind of got to move the stuffing around. So that's all the time we have for part 1. Part 2 we'll do the hood, the arm, the face, and his little weapon of choice. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in part 2.